Yeah.
Right. Okay. Ron? Okay.
Okay, Dan. Let's just talk about the power structure of the Privy Council. I mean, I'm struggling to try and grasp what they are and what it is.
Yes. I would define the Privy Council in simple terms as being the all-powerful group of people who permanently run Britain. Now, what do I mean by that? The royal family, through their patronage and their appointment, clearly are the centre of it. And while certain segments of it may select the generals through one particular aspect of it, may select the archbishops, even if that may come out of the mouth of the Prime Minister for the time being, or may select the Governor of the Bank of England, even if that may come through the Treasury. In fact, all of the people that are appointed to all those positions are within the hierarchical educational system, the Eton, the Harrow, Shrewsbury, Oxford, Cambridge. There's no chance they're going to come out of Walker School. So they have all the power over all the power organizations of Britain, from medicine, the law, and beneath them, they've got royal organizations, royal architects, royal planners, and so on. So they're all powerful, and then they come to the Privy Council as we know it, where ministers that we know that are public faces and get PC after their name meet in the Privy Council that we understand to discuss issues that break surface. A Privy Council meeting today, and it was agreed in the House that these ministers had a common ground with the Prime Minister. On the other side, the working class organizations must ballot, must elect, and all of them are known. If you say Hatton is elected local government, if you say Clive Jenkins, people know them. If you say the girl that's now in charge of the printers' strike, she's a known figure. And they've got to be elected. And the only power they wield now, because they've been circumscribed by this power structure within the law, is what? To have their funds sequestrated and held by a branch of this division over here. The miners have no funds. The NGA have no funds, because these people have made the law through Parliament, supported by the House of Lords, which in my view are totally undemocratic, and I'm going again.
Right, okay. Okay, well, I'm not again, but it was fine. No. So Dan, let's just try and talk about a term like establishment and power structure and Privy Council, those terms which you use and which we use. I mean, what do they mean exactly? And what is the power structure? What is the Privy Council? Who are they?
Let me deal with the power structure first. As I understand the power structure, it is this. At the top of it are the royal family. And I don't need to tell you that they are more and more publicized, and their faces are very, very well known. And they represent the power structure. And beneath them and all round them, in all levels of public life, the army, the law, the House of Lords, the hereditary peers, the Lord Lieutenants of the counties, are all part of that structure. And every now and again, one of them breaks surface and becomes well known. At the side of them are the organizations that wield, if you like, power in the centre and power in the provinces. The Royal Institute of British Architects, the Royal Institute of Surveyors, the Royal Town Planning Institute, all of them chartered and each of them having exclusive rights. You can't operate in their union unless you're a member of it, but they don't call it a union. They call it a Royal Chartered Organisation. And then there are the judges. who, acting independently but appointed through a part of the power structure, the Inns of Court, riding up the board until they get to the top, and then selected as Chief Justices, wielding the power, interpreting the laws that Parliament makes. There you have the public faces, but they don't comment on public affairs, any of them. The ones at the top stick rigidly to their particular segment of the power structure, and I might suggest if they were allowed to comment on more widely based subjects, we ordinary people would be able to see their lack rather than their acknowledgement of their wisdom. There is a great virtue in them being silent. The Privy Council is where a collection of them meet, some of them hereditary, not even selected, but by birth. They are particularly around the royal household. And those that are selected from the elected, the ministers, the bishops who get their seats in the House of Lords because they're selected for certain bishoprics, appointed, and all of them, almost without exception, from the educational hierarchy of Eton and Harrow, Sandhurst if it's military, Winchester, Shrewsbury, Oxford and Cambridge, and certain colleges within them, where all the bus routes lead to the top. And on the other side, working people, where the unions, if you compare a union, a craft union, they say it's outdated. It's outdated. Compare it with a royal charter. That's not outdated ever. You can operate only if you're a member of that, but you break up the union. None of them balloted for here, all of them powerful, each in their own field and collectively, unassailable, no matter how well they do the job or how badly. And on this side, all of them to elect. More and more ballots for unions, fewer and fewer ballots on the power structure side. So that the House of Lords, which is the second chamber, non-elected. And when they meet as a Privy Council, they meet under conditions as they do in all the other councils of power. They're not allowed to come out and talk about it. There are no leaks from the Privy Council. When they go there, if they go there to discuss anything, they're bound in secrecy. They can't even go back into Parliament and relate. And if Parliament was all-powerful, they would have to relate what they discussed in the Privy Council. So, in simple terms then, faceless, non-elected, all-powerful on the one side, faces elected without exception. And when the ball game is played, it's their funds that are sequestrated. It's them that can't cross their picket lines. There are never funds sequestrated on this side, no matter what the offence is, no matter who offends. They carry on like Blunt carried on, even though he was a Russian spy. Nobody got the sack for appointing him. And that, I think, illustrates the difference between that side and that side.